video, I'm going to be showing you 3 things. 1. How to hold your sword, not like this. 2. How and why you form the sword hand. 3. A run through of the most basic cuts and thrusts in the form. So stay with me for this, the ultimate preparatory video in this online sword course with the Teapot Monk. Don't hold it by the tip. Don't hold it as you would a dagger. Don't hold it as you would a steering wheel. So why am I pointing out the obvious to you? Well, I don't know what background you have had. So as this course is aimed at absolute beginners for sword, I'm not going to assume anything. First up, open palm. Place the hilt in the center of the palm. Close your fingers and thumb gently around the hilt. Now when I say gently, I'm trying to install in you a sense of looseness and a feeling for the hilt. The good thing about this sword, it's got a bit of weight to it, so the hilt feels at least heavy in your hand. Now the reason it has to be held loosely and not tightly is so that the whole arm and upper back and chest doesn't get tight as you're moving the sword backwards and forwards. This is very important, as it is in any form of Tai Chi. It's not the arm that's doing the work, it's the body. The more tense the arm is, the more the arm is doing the work. What we want is for the waist and the legs to do the work. So keep this arm relaxed. There's a second reason too, and that is there are many positions in the form that require the sword to be pointed down. Now, if this wrist is tight, it's very difficult to get that curve and that sense of relaxation. So you need to be able to soften the wrist there. Traditionally, at the beginning and the end of each sword form, we swap hands. Don't worry about this. It's very simple to do. In fact, it gives the sword form its unique flavour. There are 2 ways we start the form traditionally. We hold it in this rather unique position, whereby the blade is pointing up and the hilt is pointing down. So what I'd like you to do is turn so that the blade is pointing backwards and the hilt is pointing forwards. With your right hand, hold the hilt from underneath and the left falls down on top of it. This is the exchange going on. As the left hand falls on top of the right, change the hands over, let go of the right. Now the left hand has the hilt, and as you can see, if I turn, the finger is pointing along the top of the hilt here. I merely drop my forearm down in order to get the blade to come up, and then I'm ready to start my form. If I show you that from the front, here we are with the blade pointing back, hilt pointing towards the front. Right hand comes underneath and holds the hilt before we begin the form. Left hand comes down on top, exchange takes place. There you go, you can see it there, finger holding the hilt. Right arm drops away, left hand comes down to the side. If I move back and show you that. And there we are, we're ready to start the form. So when you begin and you're practicing and you think, okay, I've done my exercises, now I'm ready to start the form, you know what to do. Just swap over and there you're ready. Now I mentioned previously that there was a second and alternative starting position. It still ends up here, but there's a little preamble to it. And for any of you who are really into rituals and tassels and silk suits and you like to be more elaborate with your sword, well, you may enjoy this one. It starts with clasping the hilt with the left hand and the blade in front of you. If I move back here, you'll see, I'm not going to be able to show you my feet here in this video. I will do in future videos, but here you're just going to have to listen to me as I tell you what to do next. Shift your weight into the right, step forward with the left heel, and as you do so, the left and right arms come up together, the sword blade drops down in the center. Beware of cutting your nose off or your belly if you've got a bit of a beer belly. And as it drops all the way down, the arms circle round and you finally step forward with the right foot. You'll see the sword going up the back. It brings you round to the starting point that I showed you previously. So that's your choice, 1 or 2, it's up to you. As long as you end up at this position, you can either do it, grab the sword and begin, or you go through more elaborate step through, round, down, forward and in. Purely optional. Now you may have been looking at that and thinking, what are you doing with your right hand there? Every time you bring it up, it's got this particular form to it. Well, it's called sword fingers, and that's what I'm going to teach you next.